Welcome in to Right Hand, Left Hand. I'm John. This is my boy Josh over here.
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing,
man?
man?
Doing good, brother. Doing good, man. Can't complain. How about you?
Feeling a little rough from St. Patty's Day festivities. It was my first adventure out to like a crowded nightlife kind of spot since the pandemic started. But thankfully, things are looking up a little bit here, at least in Oklahoma. I think they are out there in North Carolina as well. And so not as many people getting sick, not as many people going to the hospital. I actually got my second vaccine dose this morning, so I had to get up hungover and make my way over there. So that was all right, but glad to have that out of the way.
Oh, good for you, man. Yeah, I had the babies. My little girl got her 9 month shot, so my wife took her in there while I sat in the car with Beckham. So it was fun. All in a good day.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah,
Good for
but
her. Well,
got a
got a
good little
little
fight.
March Madness.
Yeah, got a
March
good
Madness
fight.
coming up here. Good fight this weekend.
Yep.
Derek Brunson and Kevin Holland.
Yeah,
Should
Derek
be
Brunson straight from here from North Carolina too.
from Wilmington, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it should be an interesting test for Kevin Holland. He's been on a streak here. So I think this is probably the best competition he's faced so far.
I don't know. I think Jacare is probably a little bit better.
That's true, but when did they fight?
That was the last one, I
Wasn't
think,
that
in December.
recently?
That was in December. He knocked him out with a hammer fist from the bottom. You remember that?
Yeah. But yeah, I do. Yeah, but I mean, Jacare is like 41 years old. He's really
He
past his
is up there.
prime. So you're right. That's probably the best person that he's fought. But I think honestly, at this stage in the game, I think Derek Brunson's at least as
Oh, he's just
difficult
as
of a
good.
matchup for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Derek Brunson's he's a young. I mean, he's younger. He's not really young. I think he's in mid-30s too himself. Um,
Yeah, he's been around. He's never really broken through, but he's fought a
he's
lot of
yeah,
people.
he's always been that like that next right there, almost like a gatekeeper type of guy.
Yeah.
Really. He fought Izzy, and then that propelled Izzy to the title. I think he fought the interim title right after that. Um, yeah, I mean, and then they were trying to give him Edmund Shabazian. Then he beat him in the second round.
He
So
did. It was actually well. He should have beat him at the end of the
it
second
should,
round. He
yeah,
he basically knocked him out, but Herb Dean didn't call the fight off. He let him keep going,
that's
and
right, that's
just at the
right.
start of the third round, Edmund Shabazian just didn't want to fight
It
anymore.
was
And like, I
done,
mean, he
man.
was knocked out. Yeah, he
It
was
was
knocked out at
done.
the end of
I
the
can't believe they let
at
him
the
come
end of
back
the
out.
second. No, I know. And he came back out there, and that was it. It looks like 20 seconds into the third round, and he was just
Yeah,
laying
the
there, and
fight
Brunson
was
was on
over.
his back, just beating him up. And so that dude was a hype train as well.
Hmm.
I think Holland's probably proven it a little bit more than Shabazian had at
Hmm.
that point.
But
So
like I said, now he gets Kevin Holland. So I mean, this is a good test for both of them. We can break it down a little bit more. But I don't know if you want to get into a little bit of your March Madness picks before we get into that fight.
yeah, man. March Madness kicking off today, unless you want to count the conference tournaments last week. But we got the playing games. The first four, I think, is what they call
Yes,
them. They don't call
today,
them
right?
playing games, but that's what they are. Yeah, it starts at around 5 o'clock Eastern. We have Texas Southern and whoever, whatever 16 seed matched
Yeah.
up there.
Isn't Michigan State and
They're
UCLA
in.
playing? Isn't that another one?
They are. Yep. I'm trying to pull up the schedule right now for the day on my other screen here
That's
while we're
probably going to be the
talking.
best
So
game.
I did.
Uh,
Oh, for sure. It's two 16 versus 16s.
mm-hmm.
So just basically playing for the right to lose the next game there. And
Yeah,
so
really.
I did take Texas
Unless,
Southern. I
unless you're
did take Texas
Virginia.
Southern against Mount St. Mary's. Well, yeah, that's true. But they came back the next year and
Hmm.
technically Virginia's still the reigning champion because there was no
That is
tournament
true.
last year.
That is true.
Uh, so I did take Texas Southern in a pick 'em. Looks like they're +1 right now. I really liked Drake. That's another one of those 11-11 games. So Drake and Wichita State. So Drake opened as a 1-point dog, and so I jumped on that immediately, and that line's moved all the way up to Drake's at -2 right now. So I think
Wow.
that'll be a good close game. Drake's, I think, undefeated against the spread this year. Now they play in like a mid-major conference, so they haven't been tested uh, that much. And then the other pick that I like is actually in the NIT, and that is going to be my NC State Wolfpack +1.5, getting a 1.5 against Davidson, my hometown. So a couple of North Carolina schools. I'll be happy either way, but I'll be happier if NC State covers the spread and gets me
Of course, that's the game you
gets
pick.
me a W on that bet. I mean, I think it's a good line. NC State's got some athleticism. The freshmen are really starting to come along. Point guard Cam Hayes, really, really starting to limit the turnovers, distribute the ball well. He's actually a decent scoring threat as well. And then Shaquille Moore is a 2 guard, and he's a really explosive player. So if NC State can get production from their big guys down low, they beat Virginia, right? Like it's just about consistency with them and experience, and they don't have those things right now.
Yeah, enough of the
How you feeling
NIT
about your
talk.
yeah? How you feeling about your Tar Heels? How you
um,
feeling about your Tar Heels?
I like them in the first round, and then I hope COVID hits Baylor, and we move on.
It's not very nice.
Hey, listen, nobody ever said I was a nice person. I want what's best for me, you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I did also pick the Tar Heels to beat Wisconsin, but I don't have faith in them to take out Baylor. Baylor's an excellent basketball team.
Yeah, they are good. I watched that Oklahoma State game. Even though they lost that game, they still look pretty good. For me, if it's not about Carolina's bigs will always show up to the game. It depends on if the point guards turn it over. If they turn it over, we're going to lose by 15. If they don't turn it over, it'll be a close game. We might be able to win. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that there's no chance of them winning. So we'll see. I don't have them
I wouldn't
advancing
say
past
that either.
Baylor.
No, it's going to be tough for them to win that game. Although they have the size and athleticism to match up with pretty much anybody.
Yeah, our
They
bigs
have
are.
kind of some of the same problems as NC State, where they just are inexperienced and
Yeah, we just don't have any consistency in the guard play. That's what's killed us all year.
right.
If they show up every single game, anything can happen. But do I see that happening against Baylor? No. So,
Agreed.
but
So
I picked Gonzaga to win it all, just all the way. Even though I hate picking those schools out there, um, they just look, man, they look really good. They look like
they're
the best.
awesome.
They look like the most complete team in the country.
What's your Final Four?
I believe it was Gonzaga. Uh, I had Florida State and Illinois and Baylor. I believe it was. But I'm pretty sure
So
that's how it was.
I had those 3 1 seeds as well: Gonzaga,
Mm.
Baylor, Illinois, and then
I don't trust
that
Michigan.
bottom left. No, and that's the general consensus. Is most people are picking those 1 seeds from
Hmm.
those 3 regionals, but there's not a whole lot of people you can find out there picking Michigan. They got a tough bracket
That
there
is a
with
tough.
Alabama as the 2 seed, Texas as the 3 seed. I've got Alabama coming out of there, and then FSU, as you mentioned, as the
They're 4.
fourth seed. And
Yeah.
really, any of those top 4 seeds, I could see coming out of that region.
I think if Florida State gets hot, man, they've got the length. They play great defense. I mean, they're physical, and that's what and they got great guard play. So, and that's what carries you.
Yeah, they're very good. Scotty Barnes is huge. He's like 6'8" point guard.
Yeah, and he's a six
Really
man for them.
talented. Yeah, yeah, he's pretty incredible. There are some picks that I do like in that first round, but I think I might save those for my weekly pick segment.
I
I didn't
think
do too hot last
I don't know what
weekend.
you. I think we should have a little March Madness show for everybody. That way they can see what we. Because I've already made us a tournament bracket on ESPN. If anybody wants to go ahead and join our league, it's going to be RHLH podcast. And then the password is going to be the same thing, RHLH podcast, and that's going to be our ESPN tournament bracket. If you join, me and John have kind of decided what we're going to do for a prize. Who knows? Maybe a T-shirt, maybe a good job. Who knows? We don't know yet. We ain't figured it out, but we're going to have that up, and it's already up and running now.
Yeah, and we'll put the link for that in the bio, the link and the password, so that folks can just click on in there.
All right, so
So yeah, I'm really excited.
yeah, man, and I'm excited for this fight this weekend too, man. The card isn't as stacked as normal, but I like this card better than the last fight, the fight last week, for sure. And just what
Yeah, but
before we go to this new one, I wanted to say every single one of those picks that I gave on the show, I got screwed with these no contests. This illegal knee and the eye poke screwed me on all of them. I
well,
had
that was
both of
incredible,
those.
man.
Yeah, I bet they were incredible.
I mean, just from a standpoint of having, two disqualifications on the same card after the Peter Yan situation the previous week,
It's
it's
ridiculous.
just crazy.
I've
Yeah,
never seen it. I've never
I
seen
mean,
anything like that.
but they were
And
all valid too.
yeah, and but how for me, how you get what was it? A no contest in the Eric Andrews, the Andrews fight when he barely need him, and then the Peter Yan he loses. So now we're having two different rules, like you know. And I had
Yeah, I didn't.
Anders, so I mean, I don't like that rule. It's stupid. If we're gonna have one rule, let's have one rule.
Yeah, I agree. No consistency in the way they enforce that. I just really don't understand the why one results in a. I mean, I guess it's because there was more fight that took place. Like it went longer into the fight. I guess would be the logic there. But to me, that would make more sense that you would make it a no contest because Jan was winning the fight. So I don't
Exactly. So
know.
so
It
you're
doesn't
not
make
going to
sense
go
to
to
me.
you're not going to go to scorecards on one, but I guess you're going to on the other. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Like I don't know what the logic is because if they're saying that if if the fight didn't go long enough to go to the scorecard or anything, uh, then you're right. Jan should have won that fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was dominating that fight, but enough complaining about that stuff. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the card this weekend. I'm excited to see JP Bays get back out there. He's a really fun guy to watch. I love the way he grapples. He's always getting submissions. Um, I don't think I've seen much of Bruno Silva, who he's matched up against, but I think we got a pretty good price on Bays right now at minus 140. And so,
Yeah, he's a little bit too
uh,
much for me on DraftKings right now. He's almost he's in that 9,000 range, which is pretty high. That's a high range for DraftKings if you're drafting.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and see,
He's
if go ahead.
plus 375 by submission, so that's
Yeah,
some real good value there.
for me, if for me, I like the Gregor Gillespie fight, the co-main event now. I love me some
Mm-hmm.
Gregor Gillespie. I know he got knocked out by Kevin Lee last time he was out. He takes a lot of time off between fights, but he is tough.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I'm sure there'll be good fights. There's always good fights, even when you
Hmm.
don't know the names. Especially in the prelims. Honestly, those are some of the best fights. Is these people trying to make a name for themselves. So,
Yeah, I think the husband and wife,
uh,
the buys, husband and wife, they're fighting, right? The wife's fighting too.
yeah. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Cheyenne Bays is fighting
Bays,
in the
yeah.
prelims, and then I don't know if JP's. That seems like it would be a main card fight, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. Um, And then obviously our main event with Derek Brunson looking at a plus 140 plus 150 underdog right now. Looks like the lines moved just a little bit towards Kevin Holland, who
which it probably
opened at
should.
minus 170. Yeah, but honestly, I kind of like Brunson as an underdog here. I'm not gonna make uh, that pick, but Brunson's a tough dude, and he's got a chin. He can take a beating. Holland's got a lot of power, but I don't know, something about me, just the way that he put Edmund Shabazian down in his last fight really impressed me, and so I think people are sleeping just a little bit on Derek Brunson because Kevin Holland is so electric.
Oh yeah, what, he had 5 fights last year? Was it five,
Yeah,
4 or 5?
5 fights, won them all.
Yeah. So I mean, why not? He's riding a hot streak. I mean, who wouldn't like a guy who fought 5 times last year and is fighting already again in March? He's on that pace again. And to end the year with knocking out Jacare from a hammer fist from the bottom. That's what a way to end the year. I'm pretty sure he was fighter of the year, if I'm not mistaken, by a lot of people.
I don't know, but it sure would. Yeah, it sure would make sense if people chose to go that way. There were a couple of other guys
Hmm.
who fought 5 times, and I can't remember. I think one or two of them went 5-0. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
there was
I
a
don't
couple. I
remember
think there was
who
two
it
of them that
was,
went 5-0. But I mean, if I had to pick Kevin Holland, definitely be up there for fighter of the year last year for sure.
yeah, he's super exciting to watch, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I think Kevin Holland's length and his striking ability, and just the way he gets in your head while you're fighting, and just the just he won't shut up the entire time he's fighting you. And that's the reason why
He's so
Dana
funny.
White. There's a reason why Dana White calls him loudmouth and try to
He's
get him.
like,
And experience he's fought. His first fight was against Thiago Santos. Think about that. And he
it
was he was
was. He did take an L in that fight, but
I mean, it was a short notice fight, and uh, he was Dana White was pretty much throwing him to the wolves on that fight, expecting him to get knocked out.
yeah, because he came out of the
The
Contender Series
Mhm.
and then straight out of Contender Series to Thiago Santos, and he did last it out to his
Yep,
credit against a guy in
he
Thiago
fought for the
Santos who's very
title
powerful.
right after that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
me personally, I like Kevin
and speak.
Holland in this one. I have him in pretty much all my DraftKings lineups coming up, barring if any COVID mishaps or anything else if I have to rearrange anything. But I like Kevin Holland in this one.
I agree. I probably won't bet the fight, uh, just because, like I said, I was impressed with Derek Brunson the last time out. It looks like he's kind of developing a little bit of patience,
Well,
which is interesting for.
he's definitely evolving from what I've seen. I don't know if you watched the Whitaker fight when he just rushed in on Robert Whitaker and Whitaker just
Not a wise
dismantled
move.
him. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what he was trying to avoid against Shabazian, who, heavy hitter, ton of knockout power. I think he was a prohibitive favorite in that fight. I think Shabazian was close to minus 300.
yeah, it was a big one.
And I had him in that fight. I had Shabazian in that fight. So it really
That it
it
stung a
really
little bit.
sticks in my. Yeah, I remember that fight really well for that reason. So I don't know, but yeah, I guess uh Holland's last 5 all last year, as we were talking about, he took out a couple of guys who,
Yeah,
are pretty
he,
impressive wins. And Joaquin Buckley, he's been kind of a hype train lately. Had some sick knockouts last year, and Darren Stewart as well, who we
I
saw
forgot about
fight
that.
just
He
last
was
weekend.
that third round though against Darren Stewart. He was getting beat up bad on the ground, and I can see Derek Brunson definitely being able to do that to him.
Yeah, it was a split decision, so that's a fight that probably could have gone either way.
I think most people gave
And
Darren
that's
Stewart a 10-8 round in that third round.
yeah. So it should be interesting to see. I'm really excited for the matchup. Really excited to see Kevin Holland get back out there. So, uh, yeah, I'm picking Kevin Holland as well. I'm probably not going to bet the fight because I'm not that confident
Right.
in it to put it at that price, if it was a little better odds, I might take Kevin Holland. But you know, I honestly like to skip out on the main events sometimes and just enjoy those for the art and the technique of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll break down more on the when I break down my DraftKings picks. But for me, when you do, you get more. You have to have at least a piece of the main event to get the most amount of points because you do have those 5 rounds, and you just want that. That's the reason why I have a lot of the main events picked, or I have somebody in that, even if it is the underdog sometimes,
Yeah.
because you just never
I
know.
feel you, man. I feel you. I don't do a whole lot of well, I don't do any DraftKings. I play fantasy football, but that's about my fantasy sports limit. It's a lot of work.
It is. It is. It's a big learning curve for me. Just because doing from picks to DraftKings, I mean, it's definitely a different learn. You can't just pick the winners because everybody you think is going to win could be the favorite, or you have to throw in those underdog picks because if you don't, then you don't have the salary to because you only get fifty
Yeah.
thousand dollars. So I mean, you have that salary you have to play within. It's tough.
How does the scoring work for
Yeah, so
MMA and
yeah,
DraftKings?
so most of it is I'm not exactly sure right off the top of my head for the points value exactly, but you
Just
get
generally though.
yeah. So for first round, obviously first round finishes, you get more points, and then it decreases for each round, and then you also get points for just the decision victory, and then it's significant strikes are points along with takedowns, and then the significant strikes on the ground. So it's kind of you have to really really pay attention to how each fighter fights, and
Hmm.
um,
So you're not getting points, for example, for um, Jan Blachowicz laying on top of
no,
Izzy Adesanya. No,
no,
okay. Has to
no,
be
they got to
has to be
land.
striking.
You get the points for the takedown. You get one.
Right.
I think it's like 1 or 2 points for a takedown. It's not very much.
But
Um,
like the amount of time he's controlling the guy on the
no,
ground doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Interest.
Doesn't matter. Yep, it's only significant strikes on the ground, feet, and then if you knock down somebody as well, you'll get some points for that for knockdowns.
Right on. Yeah, and I say it's too much work, and then I go and I'm looking at uh, consensus picks and models and all these stats to make individual game picks against the spread. I don't like betting point totals though. I really don't like that. Um, if you look at the actual like record of Las Vegas, what they set the over under at, it's like perfectly 50-50. It's
It's right,
crazy how
yeah,
accurate they can get.
yeah. It's really ridiculous. I don't really mess. Sometimes I'll just throw like a little something on the over under, but I don't really like it that much. Um, I'm more just, and I've gotten to where I've gotten pretty good at DraftKings, and I've done pretty well. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't have to put any. I never have to put money in the account. I've always won something coming up. So it's just a lot of work and a lot of time that you have to. If I had more time, maybe I'd do better. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I've been doing pretty well lately. I did have a bit of a rough day last Saturday. I picked a
You and
couple
me
of
both.
basketball games. Yeah, I picked a couple of basketball games that didn't come through for me. The Arkansas pick that I made on the on my weekly locks turned out not to be a lock. Uh,
I
and
saw that.
then I don't remember the other pick I made, but I went 1-3. The only one that I hit on was Jinyu Fry uh, in the prelims. So she was able to pull it out as a plus 170 dog. So that was a
That was a good one. That was a good pick.
nice little payout there. And then my sleeper pick there with uh, Ashley Yoder didn't pan out. And you saw some of what I was
Hmm.
expecting towards the end of the fight with Angela Hill, where she was able to actually finally take Angela Hill down and get some control on the ground. And I was really hoping she would be able to do that earlier in the fight. And I think the fight would have gone a whole lot different if she was able to do that.
Yeah, she just wasn't able to do anything really early on. I mean, you know how bad my night was. I was pissed off the entire night, starting from the first damn fight of the night. I mean, my guy gets stopped in 8 seconds.
Oh,
I
Wit,
was
yeah.
like,
Oh my God, he just walked right into that guy's hand. It was so funny. I texted you. I was like, man, Wit let you down, buddy.
this is not good. This is not good. And then I was about to load up on the main event, and thank God I didn't. Oh my God, I would have been pissed.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, and Bilal's out here clamoring for a rematch, but I just don't think he's going to get one, man. Which is unfortunate for him.
I know.
He he really got screwed there.
You know who I think they give that fight to is Wonder Boy.
Against Leon.
Yep.
Oh, that would be a nice little uh, contender eliminator. But I think Leon will probably just.
He
I
better
mean,
not
he
get no
might be able
damn
to just
title.
sit it out. I
I
was
don't
about to
agree with
say he
that.
might just be able to sit it out. I mean, I think Dana really likes him. I think he really likes what he sees out of him, and thinks he's done enough, I guess, to deserve a title shot. I mean, guess what is beating? I mean, Bilal Muhammad's good, but he's not that much better than some of the other guys that Leon Edwards has beaten. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with you in that I'd like to see him fight another top contender, like a Wonder Boy or like a Colby
Hmm.
Covington, even though Colby said he's not taking that fight, which doesn't make sense to me because I don't think he's in any position to be taking that stance if he wants to get another
Right.
title shot.
Well, what I heard was
We do.
they didn't offer him enough money for that fight. Is what he did an interview right after
Uh,
that, and he was like, "Listen, if you want me to take a short notice fight, I need more money." Which I don't blame him.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So I guess I don't know. Maybe that's what he meant when he said, "I'm not
Doing
giving him
any
no charity or
charity.
whatever." Yeah, whatever he said. I took it more as like
He bitched
he
out.
didn't want to do Leon any favors, But
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't. I don't know, man. I am looking forward to the Usman
Oh,
Masvidal rematch
I
in
was just
April,
gonna
though.
see what you
I
thought
love
about that.
I love Jorge Masvidal. He's kind of a crazy dude, like in his personal life. Believes a bunch of wacky QAnon conspiracy theories and stuff.
Hmm.
So I don't particularly care for that stuff, but I do like his personality a lot, and think he'll do a lot better this time around fighting Usman. Now I think Usman's also gotten better. He looked great. Uh, he looked great in that last title defense. So I think it
Yeah,
plays out a little bit differently. I think there will be some more activity and some more striking.
yeah. I rewatched that fight, and as soon as that fight got announced, and man, I had to watch it in Spanish because it wasn't available on ESPN Plus, but only in Spanish for some reason. I don't know why, but I was like, all right,
That's weird.
whatever. I was like, whatever. So I just muted it and listened to it. Uh,
Oh, you
but
didn't want to learn Spanish?
I turned it up a little bit, and they were like, "Hiya!" Yelling and everything. It was
Oh man,
great.
they get so hype.
It was great. But
Spanish announcers get so
they,
hype, man.
it was great. Um, but yeah, and the more I watched that fight, I was like, wow, Jorge really makes some improvements to where this is a completely different fight. And when he came out, I mean, it was kick to the body, kick to the leg. I mean, there was no filling out for Jorge. He was going in there to take him out, and I felt like he didn't
Yeah,
have the cardio to last as long as he would like because he did take that fight on shorter notice where he wasn't training as like I mean Usman had that fight with Gilbert Burns that was coming up. I mean, that was supposed to be that
hmm
Burns fight. So I mean, he had a full training camp. So I get where they're saying that, and I do kind of see where Masvidal could make some improvements and make it a completely different fight.
definitely. I actually did not get to watch a whole lot of that fight because so we had it up on a projector at my friend's house last summer, and Being out here kind of in the plains sort of area out here in Oklahoma, we get these huge storms that'll roll through in the spring and in the summer, and they can be really violent. And this was a very, very violent storm the night of that fight. And I think about midway through the first round, the power went out.
Oh man.
And I was like trying to pull it up on my phone. Yeah, I was also, full disclosure, pretty drunk when we watched the
That
when
normally
we
ends up
watched that because
happening on. I think there was what three
I
title
know.
fights
And
on
then
that, right?
yeah, it was Max and
Walking it.
Volkanovski,
Yeah,
and then I don't remember it was Cruz and Cejudo, I think, was the other one.
that's right. It was. It was. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's been doing a lot of talking lately, but yeah, so I was trying to watch the fight on my phone and ended up just leaving and going home basically because I was like, oh man, my dog was at home and I was like, man, I should get there and like check on him because there was trees falling down. We tried to
Damn.
like this the my friend whose house I was at, he lives literally uh like less than a mile, probably a mile or so from where I was living at the time. And my buddy was driving me home and we had to like take this crazy route because there were these huge like old, probably 60, 70, 80-year-old trees that were absolutely massive that were taken down in the storm and had fallen in the street. And it was kind of
Damn.
scary, man. So I kind of I should probably rewatch that fight before they match up again because I missed so much of it.
Yeah, it was a pretty. I mean, it wasn't. It was kind of a boring fight. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't
That's why I
anything.
haven't
Yeah.
rewatched it.
But I just rewatched it because I wanted to see if there was anything just for me to talk about it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, just a whole lot of foot stomping was the
There was a
general
lot of that.
consensus.
There was a lot of that, and most of Usman's takedowns came from when Jorge was throwing his switch kick. So
Mhm.
he'd catch it and take him
I would
down from.
Yeah, I would suspect Jorge probably learned some things from that, and I expect a much better fight this time around. But I think he does deserve it. Some people were griping about it and want to see somebody else, but I think he deserves a rematch because he did take that fight on short notice. And you get a guy like Usman on top of you, and cardio really becomes an issue.
Yep,
Um, that guy's really oppressive. But Usman's been finishing everybody else, and he
that's
didn't
true.
finish Masvidal.
That is
So
true. That is true.
that's why I like it.
Yeah, it should be a good fight. Good fight this weekend. We got March Madness this weekend. Anything else? We got anything else we got going on?
Man, I don't know. Is there golf this weekend?
Yeah, there is, but I don't remember where they're
Well,
playing
it's
at.
probably something trivial because the Players Championship was last
Yeah.
weekend, right? And
Then we
so a
got the
lot of guys are probably taking this weekend off.
Masters is coming up. It'll be up in what,
Ooh,
2 or 3 weeks. So
oh, that's
I'm, ex-
awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
excited. It's always the first weekend in April.
man, so sad about Tiger Woods getting in that car accident. Such a shame.
I know. I didn't even. Did they release what happened to him? I didn't even like
I
why it was
mean,
caused.
I think
Did he
basically
fall
what it
asleep?
sounds like is he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know if it's just exhaustion or he's obviously takes medication for because he's had so many back surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
So you never know for sure. But they did say it was not alcohol related, so that's good at least. But yeah, he just basically ran off the road and the whole
Mm.
front of the car just
Yeah,
smashed
he
and
destroyed
it
that car.
crushed. Yeah, it crushed his legs. So really, at this point, you just hope that the guy can get back on his feet in a reasonable
Seriously.
time frame and be walking because he's got kids, young kids that he should be experiencing life with. Is he going to be able to? Who cares about him playing professional golf again? Is he going to be able to golf with his kid? Is he going to be able
Hmm.
to walk around and play basketball with his kids, stuff like that? So
Yeah, I
your heart
get
really
it,
goes
man.
out to him.
Especially me as a dad, man. I get it. I got two little
Absolutely.
ones, and I can't wait to start playing golf and teaching them, and hell, just have the basketball hoop up.
Yeah. Yeah. some fond memories shooting hoops in the driveway with my dad until the day that I started beating him and he quit playing with me.
And that day will come to all of us.
That's right. Father Time, undefeated. Well, and actually, I think Father Time is taking his first loss to Tom Brady.
Yeah, no shit. Holy hell.
Like,
I
signing a
love me some
contract
Tom Brady though.
extension. Yeah, it's nice to watch greatness in action. So,
Hmm.
football free agency going on right now. Panthers,
Not
Carolina
doing
Panthers
shit.
signed some O linemen,
Got
signed
rid of.
Hassan Reddick, a
Did you
guy
see? You
who's a
see?
high.
Samuel's gone.
Yeah, he signed with Washington, going to reunite with Rivera, and I'm okay with that. I mean, he had a really good season last year, sort of a breakout year for him. But I don't know. I just don't think it was worth the price that they were going to have to pay to keep him around. And hopefully they'll go out and draft some young talent at receiver because the defensive situation after they went all defense in the draft last year has
We got to
improved.
get somebody.
Yeah, they need more talent at receiver. DJ Moore is very good, but and I guess they do still have Robbie Anderson. So
We need a
Robbie
tight
Anderson looked
end.
excellent last year.
We
They
need a
do need a
tight end.
tight end. Did you see it? Greg Olson and Thomas Davis signed one-day contracts to
Yeah,
retire
I
as
did see that.
Panthers. So that was a nice little feel-good moment
Hmm.
there. Um, and so I think, I'm a little bit surprised that the Panthers haven't been super active in free agency. But at the same time, I'm wondering if their strategies, because they freed up a bunch of cap room and they
They did.
restructured McCaffrey and Shaq Thompson's deals to
Did see that.
create more space. So, uh, I don't know if that's associated with these Deshaun Watson rumors that have been going around with them, still looking at trying to trade for Deshaun Watson. So that would make sense as to why they're uh, not being super active in free agency. But they did sign a couple of offensive linemen, signed a center, Pat F-line, and then another offensive lineman. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And then, as I mentioned a second ago, Hassan Reddick, a guy who was a high draft pick out of Temple, played for Matt Rule at Temple. So
Makes
didn't
sense.
produce in Arizona the way that I think they wanted him to, and that's why he wound up on the market. And so they signed him for a 1 year deal, and uh, maybe he can produce something here with a fresh start and playing for
Yeah, I
obviously his
mean,
college coach.
definitely like our defensive line and O line have been a struggle for years now. I mean, especially our O line. Even when Cam was a quarterback, I mean, we just struggled to protect him too.
Especially,
It was bad.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they did improve a little bit last year. Get a guy like Russell Okung to
Hmm.
stabilize the left side of that line. He's not in his prime anymore, but
He's a
he's still a
solid.
starting
Yeah,
tackle. Yeah, and he's better than whatever they had been trying out there for the last
we've been using
several
undrafted
years.
people for signing them off the street.
Yeah, they franchise tag Taylor Moton, so it looks like they
Hmm.
they have a
I did see
plan at
that.
offensive line. Matt Paradis is okay at center, so hopefully they'll get a little bit better on the O line this year as well, and um, maybe that'll help Teddy Bridgewater get a little more production out of him if he is indeed the starting quarterback next year. Which right now it looks like that's probably going to be the case. Even if they draft a quarterback in the top 10, they're pick number 8. Even if they take a quarterback there, uh, you would think that it would be a guy that would sit probably
Yep.
because your potential day one starters like gosh, I'm blanking on the guys. Trevor Lawrence, like a Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah.
is really probably the only guy that I would say is really deserving of a day one starter uh, type type spot. But
Yeah. Unless one
the
of
other,
those guys goes somewhere that they just don't have a quarterback that I could see like Zach Wilson, and that's his name from BYU. If they Jets draft
Yeah,
him and get rid of Sam Darnold, I could see him starting day one.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
Justin Fields if they did the same thing.
yeah. I kind of like Justin Fields, man. He's slipped a little bit. Some
Mhm.
people even have Trey Lance from North Dakota State ahead of Justin Fields now. I think I'd be happy with Trey Lance or Justin Fields if one of them falls to the Panthers, and I think one of them probably will, unless somebody trades up and jumps ahead of the Panthers to take a quarterback. Because I think if one of those top four guys is still there, I think the Panthers are taking a quarterback.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. I like, and if there's not a quarterback, I like Kyle Pitts from Florida for us, the tight
I
end.
don't like taking a tight end that early. Yeah, I don't. I know he's great, but I really don't like taking a tight end that early. I'd rather have a wide receiver that.
Well, you're getting a wide receiver,
That's.
really, just to
I
play tight end.
mean, I guess, but just historically, those tight ends taken that high have not really panned out. So Gronk, for example, was a second round pick. Travis Kelsey was a later round pick. I think he
Hmm.
was a second or third rounder. I don't remember exactly. But these guys who are just really great. Now, I guess Greg Olson, I think, was a first round pick back in his day, but it wasn't pick number 8. But
Right.
if you just look at these guys, like I'm trying to, like Ebron, for example, was taken up
Yeah.
there. I mean, Ebron's okay, but he's not super special, right? So I just think you can get a more important position and get more value taking a tight end in the second or third round,
What-
probably.
Yeah, and I think if we don't go like you said, like a wide receiver, quarterback. I also like the cornerback from Alabama if he falls there.
Oh,
Sutton,
Patrick Surtain
Surtain,
Jr.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, his dad was a pretty good corner for the Miami Dolphins back in the day. They had him and James Madison
Hmm.
out there. Had a pretty good secondary. It's kind of crazy. Makes you feel old.
I know, right? I'm a little bit older than you, so yeah, I do. I am
Well, you
old.
got kids. I'll make you age. I'll make you age a lot faster having kids.
And sleepless nights. God dang, dude.
Oh man, speaking of sleepless nights, I might have to take a nap after my exploits last night. So
Well, I understand. I'm starving. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't ate anything all day today, other than a damn Snickers, little mini Snickers that was left here. So I'm gonna try and get me
I do
something
like
to
a good
eat.
Snickers.
I know, but
All
it
right, man.
don't crave the hunger like it says. That's a bullshit advertising.
I mean, it is still mostly sugar and peanuts. So
Right.
um, I'll probably get some lunch here as well. And thanks for joining us today. Good to see you, Josh. As always, be on the lookout for Drafting with Sparks and the Lopez locks coming out. I'll probably put mine out tomorrow morning. So give y'all maybe a few extra picks. I've been doing 4. Maybe give a few more since we got March Madness. Pick some first round games here.
Awesome. And don't forget to like, subscribe, press that subscribe button, hit that like button down there. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I changed the Twitter handle. It is going to be RHLH Podcast at Twitter. We got that fixed. Problem solved. And don't forget to also enter in our March Madness bracket pick. Y'all have a good weekend. And John, I'll see you soon. And maybe I'll text you and we'll figure something out.
All right, big man.
All right, brother.